Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee, and told us, hey, not so fast.
WBJ.
As we welcome in. What are you doing reporting facts and different stuff like that? Like Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee with us here on D-Lo and KC. Is this lack of interest, or Monty's been busy and just hasn't called yet? Like, can you elaborate on your report a little bit about this Indiana stuff?
Yeah, I suppose I can. I think you have to view it as as a lack of interest, because there just hasn't been communication. There hasn't been dialogue, I'm told. I checked in on this last week and was told no, the Kings haven't engaged on that front. And I thought about writing it then, but it was early in the process. The news about Sabonis and Turner and Karis LeVert had only been out there for, maybe 48 hours. And so I figured I would let it breathe a little bit and just see what happened. And then, yesterday decided to check in again with a couple of people that I know that I thought would know what was going on, and found out, no, still nothing. No dialogue was the response from one of them. No dialogue at all. And from the other, nothing happening there. So they just haven't engaged on that front. And, I think, for a day or two, maybe they're just waiting on something or whatever it is. But, after a week with two guys like that on the market, if you haven't reached out at that point and started some discussions, it leads me to believe that you're probably not looking in that direction. So it may be because they have something else in mind, something else they want to do, maybe something stylistically where, they question how those guys fit here, one or the other. The impression that has been given nationally is that the Pacers are open to trading one or the other. Probably not both. So, we'll see. I'm not even saying that the door is closed and that they can't begin those discussions at some point, but I've been told in pretty uncertain terms that there hasn't been any dialogue there at this point.
And you're only reporting what you're hearing and things of that nature. But that's on the Kings' perspective, on Monty McNair, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. This team has been dying for the past 3 weeks, and you need an influx of talent to not even kick the tires, so to speak, or just call. It takes nothing to make a phone call. It takes nothing to send an email to say, hey, we heard about this report. Hell, is it true? Just start there. Is it true? If they say yes, what are you guys looking for? What it is. We're not saying that we're going to make a deal, just saying what are you guys looking for? Just to make any kind of inquiry at all takes nothing. And the fact that they haven't done anything, I mean, Monty McNair, I'm not really sure what his end game is or what he's doing or what he's seeing at this point, because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing I guess I maybe in fairness, I would want to point out is, like, it's possible Monty has had these discussions with Indiana in the past and just knows that there's not a deal there for them, that maybe Indiana's not interested in what the Kings are willing to offer in that kind of a deal. So if in fact there hasn't been any discussion this time around, it's possible that they've talked in the past and they already kind of understand each other on that level. But I don't know. I tend to agree with you. If these guys are being made available now, obviously something has changed in Indiana. Whatever past conversations you've had about Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner, something has changed now because the Pacers are now reportedly looking to rebuild, and even putting Karis LeVert out there, who is a good player in his own right. He can definitely help a team if he can stay healthy. And so, I think I'm with you. I think those are conversations you should be having. I don't doubt that he's having many of these conversations with a whole bunch of teams around the league right now, and that something is probably going to happen. At this point, though, to me, it just doesn't look like this is going to be the move.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm going to give you the same edict I gave James Ham. If you don't tweet something at 9:01 tonight, we've been counting down to December 15th for months. This whole thing is a failure. We need an announcement at 9:01. The way this day has been built up. December 15th. It's a big day, Jason.
Streets want to trade.
Yeah, it's a big day. It's the unofficial start of trade season. It's as they put it. I think Woj has put out some numbers that like 85% of the league is eligible to be traded as of tomorrow. So it just opens up some possibilities that haven't been there up to this point. Where I think the number previously was like 64% of the league was eligible. So there's a new pool of players joining the list of the trade eligible, and maybe that shakes some things loose and some things start to happen.
If I asked you, sorry, Casey, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've said a number of different times, Monty McNair it better not be no second rounder. It better not be anything that you could have done 3 weeks ago, because I keep reiterating, this team has been dying a slow death for weeks now, and they've done nothing. And if they were we're going to stay the course. We're going to wait for, that December 15th or whatever the January is as well, where they can move somebody like Rashawn Holmes, whatever. I needed to pay off. I don't need no G League two-way contract guy, because you could have done that 2 weeks ago. So look, man, he's maybe moving in silence because it didn't work out the first 2 times he tried some trades in this NBA. So maybe he's moving in silence. But I'm telling you, come tomorrow, like Damian said, if that's what you're waiting for and you make a move, then it better be something worth it. I know that much.
Yeah, well, I think moving in silence is his preferred MO anyway. When the stuff with the Lakers deal got out there, I don't think that was his preference. Obviously with Milwaukee, when they thought they had a sign and trade for Dante DiVincenzo, that blew up in their face because somebody presumably on Milwaukee's side got a little antsy in leaking that information. And so, I think we should not be surprised that we don't know what is happening and what they're doing right now. But to your point, they have to do something. I mean, we know this team needs something. We know that this roster, the way it's constructed, has its flaws. I think it goes just beyond the positional needs of the team and kind of that. Like, look at the glut of guards on this team, and then the glut you have at the center position, and these guys are killing each other every day, just trying to get minutes, trying to get in the lineup, trying to get a role. And then you've got like this hole, that Harrison Barnes and Mo Harkless can't fill on their own. I mean, we asked going into the season, what happens if one of those guys gets hurt? And you essentially had them both out recently. And so there's a problem there in the way the roster is balanced. And then I think it goes deeper than that in terms of the I don't know, I don't want to play armchair psychologist, but there's something with the psyche of this team and, the confidence and really, I think we started to hear little hints last night that there's a trust issue in that locker room. And De'Aaron talked a lot about it last night. He didn't want to get into what was said in the closed door meeting. And that, you honestly don't expect that. So that's fine. But every other question he answered to a pretty great length. I mean, he talked about how you got to hear each other's voices on the court. He said, we all like each other. We talk off the court. We got to talk on the court. You got to hear people. You got to, not just on the bench, you got to hear somebody, I'm behind you. I got you. And you got to know that when, you get beat, somebody's behind you to come help, and they will come help because they know somebody's behind them to help. Mm-hmm. And right now they don't have that level of communication or trust in each other. And it's a problem. So They need to do something that, look at the fan base and how up and down it is. And it's been this way for years. It's wild how much it fluctuates. But I was just thinking this morning, I was like, looking at this team and how they've run this year. They start 5-4. Okay. They're okay. Then they lose 7 out of 8. Luke gets fired. They have, some embarrassing, like low point losses there. Like I've had that Laker game at home. I don't remember anything like that in the Sacramento era. It was to lose your building, you lose the fort, and you've got all these, Laker fans in yellow jerseys yucking it up and high-fiving and chanting, "Let's go Lakers." And the Kings fans got run out of the building. It was an absolute embarrassment. Lowest moment, I think, maybe in a long, long time. I don't know what I would put above that. And then they bounce back from that, and they're actually 5-3 under Gentry at one point with 3 wins in a row. And now they've lost 3 in a row. And we're right back where we were November 21st when Luke was fired, in terms of just talking about blowing it up. So I don't, I think for Monty, there's still an element of like, who the hell are these guys? And why, like, Gentry can't answer it. Nobody's been able to tell us why they can't achieve some basic level of consistency. And I don't know. They don't know who they are right now. And I think that when you get back to all the issues of the roster construction and the psyche of some of these guys and being soft and you need somebody to come in and change that. And, Gentry, God bless him, he's probably got more fight. He went at David Griffin reportedly a while back when they were in New Orleans, and his dude's 67 years old. Yeah. Where's the fight from the team? Who on this team is willing to go get in a fight with somebody? I don't mean that literally, but just, this team needs some fight. They need something, and we'll see what Monty can do about that.
Monty doesn't know who these guys are. He needs to listen to D-Lo and KC. We've been telling him for months who the hell they are. We know what we have here with this group, and it ain't it. It's not working with this particular group.
Are you going to get your BFF a going away present? Because it's got to be a matter, Jason. It's got to be a matter of days at this point. Are you going to get him like a framed picture of his Egyptian outfit?
Yeah. That's actually a hell of an idea. I might. I don't know. I've told him that picture's never going away. I'm going to be 80. He's going to be 60 or whatever it is. And I'm still going to be like texting him that photo, like every once in a while just to bust on him. But Buddy, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to miss the personality, in that locker room. And, Buddy really does have like a good heart and he is playful, which has come off, maybe wrong sometimes, but good-hearted dude, good personality. And I'll tell you what, he cares. If you look at the floor and who's like working hard, who's trying to do something, Buddy cares. There are some dudes I look at. Go ahead.
He busts his ass, Jason. No one, I think, ever questions that. But like, I'll ask the question that was asked of De'Aaron last night. Does losing bother him?
Yeah, well, another part of that question to Aaron was, is there a numbness that sets in? And I think that's a big part of the problem here is I do think there's some numbness that sets in. And I think that that some of these guys, like Tyrese has talked about it, when he got here, he said he was told, look, go in there and change the culture. Don't let the culture change you. And I just asked him like a week or so ago, like where do you feel like you're at in facing that challenge? And it was like, oof, wow. Well, that's a deep question. And what that told me is, and his answer to the question was great, but it showed me that like it's bigger than I think they even know when they get here and they start hearing those things. Is that they eventually you get beat down by it, man, and it sucks for them. I feel bad for them because, like Darren was saying last night, he won everything in sight for 18, 19 years of his life, and he gets here, and now, like, people are like, do you want to win? You know, and you got paid. Do you still want this? And he did. He was emotional last night. There was like a moment where the voice kind of like quivered a little bit, and it like you could just feel it in him, and it was. I thought it was a good sign for people who have been looking for that from Fox and wanting to know that, like, that's still in there, you know. And I think that for most of these guys, that is still in there. It's just trying to figure out how to rise above that. And right now, the way they're built, like, I just don't know that this group together can do it. I think that you know, it's probably going to take a little bit of a shakeup for them to find that confidence and that trust and that belief in each other.
Yeah, no, Jason, to that point, I felt the same way about De'Aaron last night. After the Raptors game, the infamous visual and press conference after where he's got the hoodie on and he's laid back and this team has just gotten embarrassed on their home floor. This was a 180 from that. Right. Like last night, I thought he was feeling it, as in like the frustration of what's going on, but he didn't let that overcome him. And he had engaging answers. He had thoughtful answers. He had real raw answers. And like I said earlier in the show, if I'm going to get on him about what I saw after that first Raptors game, I got to address what I saw after this game. But when you talk about the culture of losing and not letting it overtake you, I haven't been part of the Kings organization, so maybe it's just bigger than anything that you can imagine. But at some point, I feel like these guys, like, at some point, the culture isn't, at least it shouldn't, I wouldn't think, isn't making you not get in a defensive stance. You know what I'm saying?
No.
At some point, it's like, I know it's crazy here. Like, it's crazy, but I'm playing. The one thing that I don't have control of what the front office does. I don't have control over what they do with the app. I don't have control over what they do with ticket sales or anything. But I do have control of what I do on the court. And I just don't understand how that can be affected so much by, you know, whatever else is causing the culture to be an issue.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I don't, you know, I guess, I don't know. I guess what that makes me think of is, you know, no, it doesn't. It shouldn't prevent you from getting down in a stance. But think about what De'Aaron's talking about last night, like not feeling like somebody's there to help you. You know, think about when they ask like guys to run, and you know, like your big guys, okay, you're going to get out and run, but a lot of times you're not even going to touch the ball. Like you know, so what are you running for? What are you working for on defense if like nobody's going to pick you up, nobody's got your back? Like I just think those things kind of compound,
right.
and it's not, it doesn't justify it, but it might explain it a little bit. Just the kind of the sense of like of just hopelessness, man. But it you know, I asked Gentry within the last few days, like I've watched this closely for a long time, and it like it just is galling to me how they get blown by at the point of attack sometimes. And you like, I just think the book on them around the league is just run right by them, go to the hole, get a layup. Like I think my last 2 game stories I've written, I described it as a layup line for the other team because that's all it was. It was careless turnovers, layup, careless turnovers, alley-oop, careless turnover, dunk on your in your face. Like it was just, it's appalling to me. And Fox, all like to put it out on both sides here. Like you watch Fox play defense, and a lot of times, like he shadows his dude. Like he's right there with him, step for step, get around the screen, whatever, and then recover. And you still get in position, but his hands are at his sides. Like it's rare that he's even like putting that hand up to contest the shot, to try to get in and strip the ball. Like it's just, you know, I don't know. It's almost like walkthrough, you know, and you can't have that. And it's not, I don't want to single him out only for that. It's just that it does stand out because, just a lot of times it's that dribble penetration that they've talked about since Dave Yeager was around. Straight line drive, got to guard for 2 or 3 dribbles. This is 3 coaches now we've heard the same thing from, and it traces back to that 18-19 season. And, again, I'm not putting it on any one person. It's clearly been on everybody. But that stuff's got to change or nothing's going to change.
Jason, you're cooking today, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us. He's cooking up a 7-course meal today. He knows he's got a big night. 9:01. Jason Anderson time, baby. It's Jason Anderson time. Let's go. Get that tweet ready. Great stuff, my man. Thank you for all the great work you do. We appreciate you.
Likewise, guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, take care, Jason.